Hi there, it's Gigi here. Guys, this is not the type of content I was planning to do or that I promised, but it actually matches the name of the channel quite well, and I hope you are going to enjoy it anyway.
So I got these free lightsabers from Kids Alley in Action, and if this works, this is going to be the cheapest lightsaber in the history of lightsabers. Because I got them for 70 crowns each, which equals $3 something, so like $10 in total. They are telescopic, then light, and they make sound. And so I plan to take the tips from the two and transplant them on the sides of the first one. And then the tricky part, I need to transplant the LED diodes as well. First I'm gonna take all the screws out and disassemble the sabers. And I have no experiences with electronics. Actually, the only one was when I made light into my terrarium, and 3 years later I was told that the wires were attached the other way around, so I could have possibly set the house on fire. Am I more prepared this time? Not really. Well, I asked some people who should have better knowledge than me. One said to just connect the lights one after another, and it should work. It will probably not catch on fire in my hand. The other said this would probably not work well. It would either burn out or it wouldn't have enough voltage to shine to the fullest. And he said I would have to transplant it with the motherboard as well. The problem is, each of the diodes have their own switch, and I need them to switch all at once, so this is going to be try and error process. And did I say I need it done in 2 days? Here I'm just marking where the crossbar's gonna go. And I'm trying to figure out how long they should be in comparison with the main blade. Here I'm marking the actual openings for the crossbars, and I should have definitely done this after the crossbars were cut to the right length. And now it's time for grinding, and grinding, and grinding some more. And I even pulled out my actual swords in order to get an idea of the ideal length. Here I'm cutting the plastic pieces to the not so right size, as I find out later, and setting them in with some hot glue because hot glue solves most of my problems. And then I realized that the crossbars were absolutely too long and they would get in my way. So I also realized I'm basically building a demo version, or like a children's version of the saber, because I'm not a full-size man, I'm basically a hobbit, so the saber is also going to be smaller. And I know I'm coming with this tutorial, like we say, s křížkem po funuse, with a cross after the funeral, because The Force Awakens came out 10 years ago. Would you believe it? But I'm going to record it anyway. I use soldering iron to melt the connections and make new ones. And if you do this, don't forget to wear protective gear. This thing can squirt in your eyes and it's toxic to breathe. And I don't think this toy has enough voltage to kill me, but I still prefer to take the batteries out before I start working on it. First I'm disconnecting the LED diodes from the motherboard. Then I expose the wires and I connect them to each other and I secure the connection with electrical tape. and I first connect two of the diodes together to see if it actually works. And it works. After I remembered that I need to put the batteries back in. So I took it apart again and connected the third one into the circuit. And that's where the problem started. As I was advised, the motherboard unfortunately didn't have enough voltage to power all three LED diodes. So I was basically back to the drawing board. Eventually, I had to resort to keeping two of the motherboards and hoping that I can fit them in the body of the saber. I also decided to take out one of the devices that makes sounds when you hit something, because I was pretty positive that I was going to be hitting everything with the crossbars, and it would get annoying. And this was the second problem, because there was no way I was going to fit both of the motherboards in there vertically onto each other, so I could switch both of them with the same button. So, I'm going to save you hours watching me trying to figure out a solution that would work, and I'm going to show you the result. So after many hours of reconnecting different wires, I ended up leaving the original part as it was, and I was forced to make another switch down here that would power the crossbars. So you can see here there is the original diode, and there are new ones here and here. So this motherboard powers the main diode and then the zoom zoom part, and also makes these sounds if you hit something. And for the next motherboard, I left the second zoom zoom device as well. So when the crossbars are on, it also makes zoom zoom sound. And I just need to attach it here, and hopefully it will fit. This is how it looks attached. I can't even open it properly at this point. And you can see it works like this. So these circuits work separately. And I suppose we don't need this anymore. So, I happen to be in a need of a lightsaber, and here is why. 9 years ago, back in 2016, my close friend had a prom and the theme was Star Wars. And me being me, I thought coming in a dress was too mainstream. So within a week, I scavenged all the second hands in the city, and what I didn't find, I sewed up myself from scratch, until I had Kylo Ren's costume. The only thing missing was a lightsaber. My cape doesn't want to stay on my head, so I'm attaching some velcro with chemoprene, because hot glue previously didn't work. And if you were interested in how I made the helmet, I used the free template on Dalilomo DIY channel. Unfortunately, it looks like it's no longer available, but you can still utilize the tutorial. But I've also found a newer video with free pattern attached to it on channel D original, so maybe you can use that one. I'll leave both links down in the description. Anyway, you let the chemoprene settle for like 10-15 minutes before you connect the two surfaces. I think my belt also needs a touch-up after the years. The buckle is only made of cardboard and foam sheets, and it's falling apart at places, so I'm gonna glue it down. And why Kylo Ren, you might ask? Nobody likes him. Well, I'm not your average Star Wars fan. I wouldn't even say I'm a Star Wars fan at all. I just have a kink for sexy villains with unbalanced mentality. You know, Kylo Ren, Loki, Lucius Malfoy, Han, Phantom of the Opera, Baal from Stargate series, Sephiroth from Final Fantasy. Many times ambivalent, morally grey characters. I'm sure I'm not the only one. Women often want the bad guy. We want to sort of save them and find the good in them. And then I also don't really like the sides, so I'm going to smooth them out with some black epoxy sculpt. And unfortunately I lost the footage, so here is the result. Then I hadn't took the full costume on for a long time. Besides the lockdown, when we were ordered to wear something that would cover our face, but the government didn't have enough respirators in stock, so we wore whatever we had on hand. But otherwise, I must say that the overall costume is quite comfy, and I was utilizing it in my everyday life. Here I'm just trying to match the color of the gloves with the rest of the outfit. Fast forward to last year, 2024. There was this fantasy festival in my city, something like Comic-Con but much smaller, and there was a cosplay competition. And I must say, I love winning things. And I thought the costume was good and there wouldn't be many people competing. And the bonus was that the competition was taking place in a summer theater and people in costumes could come for free. And there was the new Dune movie on that evening, and you could also see Deadpool and Wolverine the day before. It was a bit last minute for me, but I still felt it ain't it without the sword, so I at least crafted the handle out of rolls from plastic bags. that I stole from a supermarket. And I had no experiences with role playing, so I wasn't able to introduce the character properly, I guess, and I didn't win anything. Not even the audience award. And I was really bummed about it. So this year I'm making an actual lightsaber that shines and does zoom zoom. And hopefully some sort of choreography with it. And I've basically started feeling like Will Turner in the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie, when they meet with Jake for the first time and they fight, and Jake asks who makes all these swords, and Will is like, me, and I train with them for 3 hours a day. And that's basically me for the past week. Some other parts of the garderobe also needed a repair, and I'm quite sure that Kylo Ren wouldn't approve of this, he would just get a new uniform. But I'm just not that kind of person. Some of my favorite pieces basically have more patches than the original material. And the only thing left now is to dress up. So what do you guys think? Am I going to win something?